Good morning, everyone. Well, yesterday we spoke about kind of the fickleness of the Jewish people, where sometimes they were praising Paul and Barnabas, other times they dragged him up and tried to kill him. And we encounter something of the nature of the people, because you had pagans and Gentiles, and then you had the Jewish people. Now remember, Jesus was Jewish, and most of the early apostles would have been Jewish as well. So how do you managed to fit all these pagans and Gentiles into this whole new Christian environment? The Jewish people were assuming that since Jesus was Jewish, that everybody would have to follow the Jewish tradition in order to get to Jesus. And so one of the big things they were saying is, you need to be circumcised. Now, I can think of nothing more of a deterrent to somebody sort of saying, come and be a Christian. It's just this little problem that we have to take care of. But it's all based on Jewish pride, basically saying, we're Jewish, so therefore everybody must do what Jewish people did. Difficult. Fortunately, I think, if we look at the writings of Paul, we'll see that that's a challenge he had throughout a lot of his ministry. He was trying to bring together the early Christians who were Jewish and the early Christians who were Gentiles, sort of saying they are all one. In John's Gospel today, we see chapter 15, Jesus says, I am the vine and you are the branches. Some of the imagery and the analogies that Jesus uses, I think, are quite important. I am the vine and you are the branches. In other words, what you get, the energy you get in the branches comes from me. If it wasn't for the vine, the branches wouldn't exist. And it's one of those things I think that people can relate to in the time, because growing grapes was important. Why? Because that's where you get the wine from. And so it's not just simply a question of saying you must do things specifically, as the Jewish people were saying to give recognition that wherever you get your energy and so forth from, it's from me. And there are many branches, and they'll all develop different grapes depending on where they're growing. Now, I always admired the skill of the wine growers, because when you look around, those of you who were at the wine evening on Friday will appreciate there are many different wonderful wines. And one of the questions that we've been asking a little recently is, doesn't the mass wine taste a little different these days? Well, there's good reason for that, because we have traditionally used a Maltana, but now the churches have been given the instruction or the directive that we now need to use mass wine, and it's approved by the South African Bishops' Conference. So that's the reason. It tastes different because it is different. Let's enjoy it as the Lord comes to us through Him being the vine and us appreciating the fruit of the branches. Have a wonderful day. Keep safe. God bless. Bye-bye.